Sunday morning and we have our swimming carnival today. It doesn't look like a fantastic swimming carnival day. That said, we're meant to get to 25 degrees down at the pool, but it does say it's meant to be overcast for most of the day. Good and bad things with overcast days in Australia. Like, you look at it and you go, I don't need sunscreen. But if you're out all day, no shirt on, and the sun gets up where it needs to be, it's still possible to get sunburned. That message is going to be, I guess, sung to the kids several times throughout the day and staff, because we don't want kids being burnt. Today is also the day where we'll be getting the new timetables printed out. Not uploading the new file to the server until partway through today, after roll call's basically been done today, because all the roles are still, like, all the kids and the staff will know their current roles. 9 to 12 won't change at all. 7 and 8 will. Head straight to the pool for the carnival. Dress up in your house colours. The school actually bought staff the shirts for this year. They have the house name you're in and the house colour, but it's got the one of the Aboriginal designs we've got for the school shirts. Sort of compared them a little bit, because in my staff room we've got red, blue and yellow members, but there's no green. But we have had a look at comparing the designs on the shirts and seeing that there's like little slight differences here and there. Great shirts for showing team spirit. Certainly saves staff who say, I don't have anything in my house colours. There's not many staff like that, but this is one really good way of getting like all the house members of Durrow to look very much the same. I'm still wearing my red hat with my dragon head and my tail, and I've got the wings as well now. Have a bit more fun with it. I'm going to see if I can duck across to the school midway through the day to upload the new file, synchronise it with all the systems that we have at school for role marking and stuff, and have all the student timetables ready as PDFs so that the office staff can just print them off and have them ready for year advisors for tomorrow. Fingers crossed, and I'll actually do that, so we don't have any major hiccups with people going to the right class and changes to timetables. And one thing that a lot of people have said is that the kids aren't going to know what to turn up to, like what equipment to have for tomorrow, especially the seniors. And then you go, well, there's a pretty good chance that you might have one of the same subjects. Seniors have their subjects 6 to 8 times in a cycle. It's not like they have to go, oh, I didn't bring my sports gear, because sports isn't till Wednesdays. PE maybe. We'll see all that tomorrow. Getting a quick walk in. I'd already gotten all changed up from work in my pyjamas, and I was opening the mail. We'd had a stack of parcels arrive, and so I was opening them all, and my wife had bought a whole stack of stuff for him to go to the beach with, like a longer lead and floating toys, like a floating fetch toy. One of the things was a doggy vest, life vest, and I wanted to make sure that the size thing actually fit him, and I put it on him, and because it's so much like his harness, he was going, oh, we going? So I got dressed and put his harness on so he could go for a walk. It's starting to rain. Just a very, very light mountains mist, but it's amazing how soaked you can get when you don't realise that you're actually being rained on. But this is just a quick walk. Good thing we had the swimming carnival yesterday. But the thought that's going through my mind now is we won't be having an assembly this morning for the kids to get their timetables. It will just be off to roll call. And I guess we just get them all to them in roll call. I think that's just going to have to be the way to do it. See if we can extend roll call just a little bit to be able to make sure that we can get the timetables to all of them. Especially since it won't be easy because the year 7 one is sorted by their new roll call class or their new class, which they're not in. Some are, but some aren't. Every other year group is just alphabetical. So having to find all the kids because the roll calls aren't necessarily just alphabetical. Year 12 is probably the easiest because they're all just sitting in one room. Year 11's in 2 rooms, but it's a boys' roll call and a girls' roll call, and the pile of things are just alphabetical. So we'll see how that goes. Traffic hasn't been too bad this morning. Little bit slower going just because of the wet weather, which is fine. Knock on wood, we still go all right. So a brand new timetable, and all I had today was construction year 12. So they've got started getting this sort of organised and assembled, and took a while just figuring out which part was what, but we've managed to get one corner tech screwed. We've got brackets on both sides. There's a smaller bracket that needs to go in here and pull it in tight. This apparently is a internal guttering system. Everywhere where there's a join, they need to put silicone if we want to make any use of the internal guttering. Now, as you can see, we're not very far from the fence, and we're quite a bit over the gutter, so when this ends up going up, I've got the widest leg section from here going out to there, and then the narrowest section, which is only like 3.5 metres in between these, so the legs aren't going to be interfering with the fence or the gutter on this side. Wherever this one ends up being will determine really where the other one goes. So that'll be an interesting activity. The second one might be a year 11 group project rather than year 12. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, just trying to get that started took a while. I've got them again tomorrow, so we'll, now that they've got a bit more of an idea of what's happening, we may be able to get a bit further. End these brackets up, which wasn't very hard, but like I said, the main thing was figuring out which parts were what when we were out there, because we did write the part numbers on them, but yet to find them again. Pee on the rock again. Managed to get home in time for a walk on the dirt road, and it's meant to rain, It looks like it could off into the distance, but I think we should be right. Wednesday morning, just hit this traffic about maybe 4 minutes ago in between Blacksland and Glenbrook. And I thought, this is an odd spot because there's one set of traffic lights down here, and that's not likely to be something to slow the traffic up this much. So I just opened up maps and started rolling down the highway, and it shows that there's an accident kind of on the lower spot of Lapston Hill, just before you get to Leonay, where there's a road that goes over the freeway, goes to Leonay and Emu Heights, and that's basically where the freeway technically starts at 110. And I know yesterday going down, I mean, it was raining, but yesterday going down that hill, I had a lot of distance between me and the traffic ahead of me, but then all of a sudden it just stopped, and the traffic was crawling along the first kilometre of the freeway. But because of the way it stopped, and you're coming down a hill and it was raining, I put on my brakes trying to be sure that they didn't lock. I mean, this has got ABS, so it's not going to lock. And the same thing happened with the cars all behind me. They're sort of, oh, listen. I'm wondering if the same thing happened today, even though it's not raining. But I think like the freeway suddenly backed up for some reason, and somebody's rear-ended somebody else on the freeway just before you get to the start of it, like at the base of Laston Hill. If it's where people were just starting to pick up speed, this is likely to be, it could be multiple car. I don't know. I'll see when I get down there. But it's 8:05. I just messaged the sick phone and then messaged my staff to say, stuck in traffic at here and map shows an accident, gonna be late. There's quite a few other staff that live up here. If they have left at a similar time to me, they're gonna be stuck in this as well. Pretty full day today. I've got year 11 twice, construction. I've got period 1 and period 3, followed by year 12, period 4, and I've got 9-10 metal, period 5. It's meant to be 28 degrees, which isn't super hot, but 88% humidity. And yesterday was just, for the short time that I was, like I had one class with year 12, and for that short time I got really sweaty from the humidity. So wearing short sleeve light shirt, one of our school ones. And tonight we have our future student night. Used to be called Year 6 information night, but it's now called future student night. And apparently year 5 students are also going to be coming to check out our school, because they're already thinking about the high school they want to go to in year 5, at the start of year 5. That's from 5 till 6:30 this evening. All the faculties are putting on some kind of little display, hands-on thingy for the kids to do. Our coffee cart runs for the parents, and hot chocolates for the kids, I guess. And our hospo group also did cupcake decorating last year. I wasn't at last year's one because there was something else that I was on that I wasn't going to make it in time. Like I was at a PL or whatever. We'd organised for the cupcakes and the coffee cart, but on the night, my computer coordinator also ran robotics in the computer room, and she said she also did sort of guiding people around. She's my 2IC. People wanted to do tours over to the trade school. She did a couple when she had the chance, but so we are running that again. A couple of the other guys are looking at doing something with either the laser cutter or the 3D printer, just showing little things that they can do with it. Oh, here is the head teacher. Look at what we have around. We've got a fairly large area, and if people want to go over to the trade school, I'll do that as well. See it. I've got a shirt and tie, plain singlet, and all stuff just in case, because of the. I do think I'm going to get hot today and sweaty. Well, I was late. It took me an hour and a half to get to school instead of an hour or less. So I got here just on the 9 o'clock bell. Dropped my stuff in the staff room, grabbed my bags, got my computer and everything. Came over for construction. I had 5 here, still getting through all the paperwork stuff. But I've got them again period 3, so we'll see how we go. That's the end of a long day. Both Year 11 classes, both periods were good, productive. Got some kids moved along a bit. Showed them where things needed to go, where they had to upload certain things because they weren't sure on that. While Evidence Central, the youth system for vet courses, is an excellent way of delivering and collecting work, reducing the paperwork side for us because we don't have to keep scanning things all the time. Number of steps that the students had to go through to upload their certificate from something else they did, because they did have to do like an online course thingy, and they got a certificate, so they'd download the certificate. Then they'd come into Evidence Central, so they'd open up Evidence Central, log in, go to the menu to find our course, enter the course, scroll down until you found work placement, open up that, and it would open up further, then scroll down further until you found go to work placement, click on that, scroll down until you found the part that said upload a document or certificate, click on that. It then gives you up a big dialog box where you can just apparently drag and drop the file in, but if you click the folder to upload a file, it then brings up another thing, and you click on file upload, and then it opens up another thing so that you can choose file. So you find where it is, open it, then when it opens up, you'll see it there, and then you say upload file, and then you say save changes, and now it's there. It's so many steps, and then I have to go in on my side, see the document, see that it's all right, say satisfactory. In the olden days, the kids would get the certificate from their course. I would get them to download it and then send it to me via Google Classroom so that I could print it, sign it, rescan it, upload it. So it's lots of little steps now on the computer, but all those steps takes a minute, 90 seconds at most, once you get the hang of it. Okay, just trying to help the student through press that button, scroll down, go there, scroll down, click that, scroll down a bit, click on there, click that, find your file. Year 12, they didn't come in looking like they were prepared to do any more work outside, and it was hot and muggy. So I had some booklets printed from last year for task 4, which is planning task, where you have to have a site plan and plan out your steps and plan equipment, and I thought, like, we can do that with this project now, so I should be able to do both task 4 and 7 together. So we sat together and did the stuff that we're meant to do as a group, so they can do their document, which they can then take a photo, upload, I can mark. So we should be able to get through that. I want to get them into the bricklaying. The stage 5 medal this afternoon took quite a while to get ready, just to get settled. Then when we finally got going, they worked well, and I was trying to catch some kids up who were away last time. Some kids want to race ahead. They work well. They packed up pretty well, especially since I felt like I ran out of time. I was like, oh, we got to pack up. They started packing up, checking the toolboxes. They all said they'd check their toolboxes, but I found some tools out on the table, and I went through and found out I'll be able to say to them, you didn't have this next time. And then the future student night, what we used to call Year 6 information night, the way we have it set up so that it's a little bit more free-flowing rather than we used to do it. We would have our SRC students guide groups of parents and Year 5, 6 students around the school, and they would get to you, and you would have, I can't remember if it was 3 minutes or 5 minutes to do your presentation. And I had a PowerPoint with photos and things all over the place, all the different areas of our building. I would talk about the whole school as well, because being in charge of technology, I would want to spruik the fact that we had all this technology. That's increased a lot. Just show off photos of all the facilities we've got to basically urge them to come to our high school. You would have 5 to 6 groups of parents come around, so you'd present the same thing 5 to 6 times, and as soon as one was finished, another group would come up and start again, another group would start again, and you usually got one break in the night because they would go around to all the different faculties. This time they had a little bit of a presentation down the front at the office, and then they just got to roam the school and go around to different faculties. The school leaders were still there to guide around if they wanted, point them in the right direction, and faculties just set up whatever they wanted to have going. We had a 3D printer and our laser going. One of my staff was showing how they would do design using Tinkercad, doing it up on the big smart board. The staff member doing cupcake decorating up in the kitchens. We didn't have the coffee cart going as we have in the past because it was just a short evening. And I was going to do tours across to the trade school, but my computing staff couldn't end up hanging around because they thought it was starting at 4 as in the past. One of them got our little Edison robot set up in the computer room, and then I just had the computer room door open, I had a workshop door open, I walked around in the quad, said hi to parents, had the Edison robots just sort of doing their own little thing in the computer room on the tables, showed off the workshops, offered a tour of the trade school, but they said, no, that's all right. And then the night got wrapped up. It wasn't a very big turnout. That was a little disappointing. I don't know whether, I don't seem to recall it being this soon in the year, but week 6 sounds familiar. I don't know whether we used to do it week 6 in term 2. I just remember it used to, no, it was in term 1. I remember it being in term 1 a few years back. And I only remember that because of another incident that happened on the same day. That was very vivid, and that was like, I just remember we finished up and it was dark. So it was just maybe a week or 2 after this. I don't know when daylight savings ends. Anyway, I'm rambling a bit. Got away at a good time today. We had CPR training after work, and we started at 2 because on Thursdays, like the school day finishes at lunch for the kids, we have meetings. We would normally have our faculty meetings at 2 after lunch, but because we were all doing CPR in various groups around the school, started that up at 2, done by 3:30, and I said, that's enough for today, going. A pretty full day tomorrow. I've got 11, then 12 construction in the morning. I have the metal class after recess, and then I have the timber class after lunch. In period 4, between the metal class and lunch, I have a handover meeting with the deputy principal of 7, 9 and 11, because I'll be relieving for them from Monday for about a week and a half. I haven't even really looked at my brand new timetable to see what impact that's going to have on my classes. I said to Year 12 today, because I told a few of them that I was going to be DP for the next week and a half. And I just said, like, if it's quiet enough, that I'd still come up to the class. So we'll just have to see how that goes. I think next week we only have 2 lessons, because it's the week B that I have them the most. I think I've had them every day this week, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and tomorrow. Eventful day at work. I'll just leave it at that. Remember how I said I'd leave it at that? Yeah, I was duty supervisor at recess today. There ended up being a fight between some students. It seemed to be brewing because some people were noticing movement. And I even spoke to a couple of the students who we thought might be involved, and everything seemed okay. Minutes after that, I saw them sort of moving to the middle of the quad and congregating, and still didn't look like anything. Then I started walking towards it, a bit proactive. All of a sudden, 2 students just started beating into each other. I broke into a run to get between them and break it up. Broke it up, or I should say, broke them apart. And another one jumped in on one of the others. So I immediately tried to get in between that and move them away. That happened, but at that time, moving one away, they kicked the other one to the ground, who fell hard. The student I'd pulled off the first time ran over and started kicking the other one that was on the ground. I remember jumping over to pull the student off then as well. got knocked to the ground, but I'm also not sure whether it got knocked to the ground beforehand in pulling the second two apart. But after the last one, some other staff had come in and moved the victim away. Another one moved one of the other offenders away. The one that I had last pulled away, who was the kicker, they got up and started storming towards their bag. And I just said, like, you're going straight to the office, come on. And they picked up their bag and I escorted them down to the office. When I got back up to my staff room, there was a deputy there and a staff member guided away the victim. And they both said, how is your knee? I went, what? They said, you got knocked onto your knees on the concrete. And I got told later on that I was quite close to the concrete steps. At that point, my right knee was a little sore, but not too bad. But the reason I'm talking about it now is because my left knee is really hurting. So I don't know whether because I had a look at both of my knees at lunch. There was no bruising, but I did fill in an accident and injury report. But at that point, I was just making a note about my right knee because that was the one I felt at the end of the recess after the incident. Yeah, my left knee's quite sore. So I'll have to see whether I can make an amendment to my injury report tomorrow morning. This doesn't happen often, the fights I mean. But this one was a doozy.